Can I start by saying that we have not been this excited about Parliament sessions for as long as I can remember. You see, for the past decades, the Parliament has been like this: BJP and NDA on one side in overwhelming majority and the rest on the other. In short, the past decade has been like India versus Namibia in cricket, in Test cricket, mind you. No competition, so to speak. But what happened on June 4 has changed the game completely, so much so that now people are turning Parliament speeches into proper viral content.
चू कित कित में चू धरा 400 में कित 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 कितना हुआ 240.
I mean, look at Sansad TV and their YouTube channel and see how many views the opposition leaders are getting. This is not a coincidence. This nation has been denied a strong opposition for over a decade, but now things are different. And for the Northeast, this is a great thing. But what was started by Manipur's fiery MP Bimol Akoijam must now become a blueprint for every non-BJP MP in the Parliament for the Northeast. I'm Kalyan Deb, and in the 100th episode of Decoded, we try to explain why what was started by Akoijam must now be continued by all those who wish to protect democracy. For months.
Village of Assam in the 75th Independence Day.
At the time of recording this video, we are marking just 1 month of the Lok Sabha election results. But I would say that the opposition has controlled the narrative much more strongly in the past month than they did in the previous 5 years. And of course, this will happen given how closely matched the two sides, the government and the opposition, are. And I would also add that for some MPs, especially the one from Inner Manipur, this was the moment he had probably been waiting for even before he knew that he would be contesting elections. Professor Bimol Akoijam finally got the mic at the stroke of midnight, but his speech rang loud and true for hours after he had stopped talking. So much so that there was not one channel, from local Manipur channels to even channels that focus on South India, that did not relay his speech. Of course, Akoijam was not speaking alone. He is part of Congress, and Rahul Gandhi, now officially the leader of opposition, took no prisoners in his speech, and again we all saw the impact of his speech. Now sure, BJP fans want to act like all is well and their government and that Modi ji continues to win our hearts. But here's the thing, PM Modi finally addressed Manipur in his speech. Here is one way to look at it. For an entire year, he let his minions defend him while he tweeted about every other thing in the world. But it took one parliamentary session post-elections for our Prime Minister to acknowledge that a state called Manipur exists and it is in pain. In short, one strong attack from the opposition, which is the strongest in over a decade, has left the BJP addressing issues it thought were too unimportant for the PM to address. Three from Assam, 2 from Meghalaya, 2 from Manipur, 1 from Mizoram, 1 from Nagaland. What am I talking about? The non-BJP MPs who are representing the Northeast. On the other hand, we have 13 from Assam, 2 from Tripura, 1 from Sikkim and 2 from Arunachal, who are either from the ruling party or, in the case of UPPL and AGP in Assam, Tipramotha in Tripura and SKM in Sikkim, part of the NDA. Now it is obvious that the NDA allies are not going to spend their time calling out the central government because, well, why would they? Of the non-BJP MPs from the Northeast, only Meghalaya's Ricky Singh Khong and Mizoram's Richard Venlal Mangyaha are not from Congress, representing the VPP and the ZPM respectively. This means that Congress has the opportunity of a lifetime to become the voice of the voiceless, the Northeast. In the past 5 years, we have seen how often the Northeast's issues were simply dismissed because, well, it is the Northeast. And no, I'm not trying to push a BJP is bad narrative, but we have seen the stepmotherly treatment that region received. Whenever the BJP needed the Northeast to highlight some achievement, say bridges and telecommunication, we were great examples. BJP leaders will never stop telling you how insurgency has come down in the Northeast before Manipur 2023 at least, and for that, well done. But every time someone raised an issue the BJP was not comfortable with, it was simply dismissed. How many hours were spent discussing the refugee crisis in Mizoram? How many MPs asked serious questions from the authorities over the murder of 13 innocents in Oting for simply being poor labourers? Why was there no anger when Meghalaya kept asking the ILP to be approved even after the State Assembly had approved the same? The thing is, if you have BJP leaders representing the Northeast, that is not an issue. You choose your leaders, but the BJP leaders will not point out the mistakes of its own government, right? That is precisely why we need a strong opposition. And Nagaland, Meghalaya, Manipur and Mizoram leaders have to do just that. If they need to scream, so be it. But make your issues heard. Look at Meghalaya for example. The state threw out the Congress president for a leader barely known outside Meghalaya and also kicked out an MP whose biggest achievement was, among other things, being the daughter of P.A. Sangma. In Vincent Pala and Agatha Sangma, Meghalaya did have two powerful MPs, but despite that, the two achieved zilch. If you are a resident of Garo Hills, can you honestly say that Agatha Sangma did wonders for her constituency? That too, when her party, the NPP, was in power in the state. Unlikely. The same for Pala, who spent more time watching leaders like Engpen Lingdo jump ship than doing something for his own constituency. But now Meghalaya has spoken, and Singkhong and Saling Sangma must realize that the responsibilities entrusted upon them. And boy, does Meghalaya have issues or what? From unemployment to illegal immigration to ILP to education to health to environment, look around and see how bad the condition of Meghalaya is. In Nagaland, Congress win has given the grand old party a new lease of life. Now, why did the Naga electorate pick a party that had no presence in the state in over a decade over a party that is hand in glove with the BJP at the state and central level? Because the Nagaland electorate wants to be heard, from AFSPA to the controversy over Frontier Nagaland, from lack of education facilities to a public health system in dire need of support, from justice for voting victims to creating job opportunities and fighting climate change. S. Supangmerin Jamir has his plate full, and the least he can do is to make his and Nagaland's voices heard among those who conveniently ignore the state whenever it is convenient. Sikkim, Assam, Arunachal and Tripura, we are talking to you now. Assam has 13 MPs that are part of the NDA. Arunachal has 2 and Tripura has 2. Please note that we are only talking about Lok Sabha numbers for now. Since Tipramotha and the BJP contested the seat together, there was never any doubt that they would have won, and they did so. Similarly, no one had doubts that Arunachal would go the BJP way, and it did, and most seats in Assam did so too. But these leaders must not forget that they are in Lok Sabha to represent the people. The people are not here to defend their leaders. Tipramotha has received a strong mandate, sure, but that is because the locals have put all their trust in their leadership. This also means that the Tipramotha and the BJP must start delivering on the promises they made. Similarly, the SKM, which turned the state elections into a cricket score, must understand that their MP Indrahang Subba needs to speak more passionately for his state. He needs to highlight how precarious the Himalayan state's future is amid climate change, illegal immigration and a falling rate of population growth. The state has one major hospital, the STNM, for the entire state. He cannot simply sit and enjoy the mandate because he is part of the NDA. Similarly, Arunachal MPs may be of the BJP, but in Kiren Rijiju, they have perhaps the strongest leader from the northeast and someone who enjoys proximity with those in power. But he cannot wait and watch. He needs to address the Chakma Hajong issue and go beyond making confusing statements like they will be settled in Assam, a statement that he later denied. The BJP MPs are in power and they will be in power for the time being, but they cannot afford to treat the Northeast as they have done till now, an afterthought. A strong opposition will be only too happy to speak for the locals if the BJP leaders do not, and that, at least for the Northeast, can never be a bad thing.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to EastMojo. For any queries, put them down in the comments section below and press on the bell icon for notifications.